Hey, how's it going everyone, and welcome back to my channel for another video, and today I'm here with some more Pokemon Unite solo queue gameplay. But before we get into that, I want to express one of my biggest pet peeves with the game, and that is being a solo queue player, meaning someone that's playing by themselves because they have to or because they prefer to, and constantly getting paired with duos and trios in matchmaking. Now, just to clarify, I have no issues with people that want to pre-mate in their ranked or standard matches. That's perfectly fine. If that's how you prefer to play the game, by all means. But you need to understand, as a solo queue player, it's extremely frustrating because you just feel like you're at an automatic disadvantage because the game is just exponentially harder for numerous reasons. One, you have no idea if your trio or duos are good or bad. Not to mention, because you have one on your team, you're more than likely going to be facing one on the opposing team as well. You have no idea if they're good or bad, but at the end of the day, it comes down to communication, and not being part of that group when it comes to communication and having more than half your team just sticking to their own game plan and you have no idea what that is extremely difficult. Obviously, you can contribute, you can do your best, but realistically, at least in my opinion, when it comes to these types of games, I just feel like it's going to be a stack difference type of game. Whoever has the better pre-made is probably going to win, and you just need to hope that yours is better than theirs. But going into this game, I decided, hey, you know what, let's Zera jungle invade. Initially, I was gonna do that anyways, but it's gonna be a little different considering it is a pre-made game, so I will have to adapt to, you know, them having comms and playing a little bit more passively because it's a little bit more high risk. So I farmed the two camps in the lane, and then I'm going straight to their buff. As you can see, the blue buff is still there, meaning they either start at their small creep or they start at the red buff and they're making their way. I'm just going to be patient here. I have no idea who's jungling right now, but you know, we'll just have to wait and see. So I stepped out of the brush briefly, so they may have spotted me, but I'm just gonna 50-50 this blue buff and try to secure it with my slash. I was able to secure it, I used my agility to get away, and I was able to successfully steal and deny their experience. I don't want to overstay my welcome, so I'm just going to cut my losses and, you know, go back to my goal and just get some HP back. So, we're off to a good start. We stole their blue buff, we denied some experience. Sanjay is still level 4, so they haven't reached their first power spike yet. In a normal game, meaning a normal solo queue game, as in, you know, everyone being solo, I would go for a second jungle invade because I feel like I would be able to. However, I don't want to risk, you know, dying unnecessarily, especially getting collapsed on by, you know, the team with comms. So I'm just going to stick to the bottom lane and just farm whatever I can. Obviously, because I'm playing Zera, definitely not the greatest early game Pokemon, but it can definitely hold its own in the lane, granted that you're not misplaying. So I'm just going to try and get to my power spikes, level 6 and 8, get my Volt Switch and Discharge, and, you know, just go from there. Altaria spawning at the 8-minute mark, so I'm just going to rotate from bottom to middle. As you can see, everyone else has the same idea. So we're able to get the Absol. Scissor's getting really low, so am I. So I'm just going to not overextend and just cut my losses here. We pick up 2 kills there, I get an assist, we get some experience, get a little bit of farm as well. So overall, we get the better end of the deal right there. Unfortunately, I'm still at a deficit when it comes to experience, but that's perfectly fine. I just need to make sure I'm not dying unnecessarily and, you know, just try to continue keeping up with the experience. So I get to level 6, I get my first power spike, so I get my double dash, which is Volt Switch. And from the looks of things, it looks like the bottom laner's left, but here comes Absol with the Pursuit Sucker Punch engage on the Decidueye. Fortunately, they were so focused on Decidueye that they weren't paying too much attention to me. That allows me to pick up the kill, get a lot of experience, and get the 30-point cap off. So I went from level 6 to, you know, level 8 in a span of like 1 minute. I'm gonna score my 24, break the tier 1. I could stay bottom and secure the Reggie. However, I'm gonna group up with my top and prioritize the Regieleki. It is a Regi, so it's not the most valuable Regi objective out there. I prefer Regi Steel for the offensive bonuses, followed by Regi Rock in second. Decidueye is able to secure the kill on Clefable. Mr. Mime goes down. Scizor is in a 1v4 situation trying to secure the kill on Glaceon, but they're not able to do so. Dodrio goes in with their Unite move. And we're able to break the tier 1. So we're in a very favorable position right now. We broke the tier 1, we got the Regieleki, we're grouped up as 5 top lane. Absol's backcapping forwarding the bottom lane, so that temporarily gives us at least a 5v4 scenario until they recall. Regieleki is still pushing. I pop my Unite move onto Mr. Mime, Glaceon and Mr. Mime go down. Clefable and Scizor are here, Scizor pops Unite move. Absol comes back and uses their Pursuit and Unite move to engage on us and try to defend. Unfortunately, there's just too much pressure right here. We're very far ahead. And unfortunately there was a bit of a misplay, but at the same time it was not intentional. So sometimes if you played Zeraora before, you'll know that, you know, when you press Volt Switch, sometimes it double registers, as in, you know, you Volt Switch once and you don't intend to go back, but sometimes the game kind of registers that one input as 2 and you just snap back immediately. It was not my intention. I meant to Volt Switch once and try to discharge. I still had eject button too, so I could have potentially gone away if that didn't happen, but we're still in a very compelling spot. So I'm level 10, I'm about to get my Unite move right now, and there's no objectives on the map, they haven't broken any goals. The only downside to that is, because we still have the tier 1s up, there's less farm on the map for us. So I tried to go for the red steel with my discharge and Volt Switch. I could have used my Unite move to secure the kill on Scizor, but I didn't think it was really worth it. Right here, I overextend just a little bit. I didn't want the Absol to kill me and get some free experience, so I popped my Unite move there. It was just to make sure I stay alive and don't give unnecessary experience, but it was my fault for overextending and getting tagged by the Sucker Punch. However, the objectives on both sides are spawning, so that was not a good Unite move on my part. You know, one of the things that you need to understand as a player and to improve on yourself is objectively identifying, you know, when you do something wrong, and that was a bad play on my part. So Dodrio went down again, and 3 of us are top lane, meanwhile Hoopa's bottom lane. Not exactly sure why Hoopa is trying to solo the Regi by themselves. We could have used them in the top lane for sure. However, I think they probably thought we could get the Regieleki and they could bring us bottom with their Unite to get both objectives, but that was just like a little optimistic. That being said, they only broke the tier 1, they got the Regieleki, and, you know, we did get the Regi in the bottom lane. So right now it's 3 minutes and 20 seconds, everyone is, you know, Uniteless, so they don't have their Unite moves. So we just gotta farm and play a bit passive. Glaceon getting caught out in the jungle. And Hoopa goes down as well, so we're a bit split up here. Dodrio's on the tier 1, the other 2 were in the jungle. And they got caught out. We're still in a huge lead right now, but this was a huge blunder on my part. So in my mind, I was thinking I would be able to get the Absol on their way down from the score animation, but unfortunately they avoided my initial burst, and then I just get stuck in between 3 of them. So a huge misplay on my part, but it's not the end of the world because we don't really lose too much out of that. They just get some experience off that. I guess the consolation would be, you know, I get a lower cooldown on my death timer. Okay, so 20 seconds until Rayquaza spawns. Everyone has Unite move except for Decidueye and Hoopa. You can tell by the portrait at the top of the screen, by the timer. So we still have a huge lead, and right now, we don't need to do anything crazy right here. We can wait for them to take the initiative to make a play, because all we have to really do is stall for time. So I'm with my team right here. We have a huge lead, and in my mind I was thinking someone may go for a potential backhatch, so I thought I would recall because we do have a Hoopa. But then we get engaged on. So as you can see on the minimap, Absol engages on Decidueye, and they get picked off by themselves. Hoopa pops Unite move and decides to go in a 3v4 situation. Ideally, it's not in our favor to take that fight. That's why I didn't take the Hoopa teleport. And unfortunately, 3 members of my team are dead, make that 4. And it's basically left to a 50-50 situation on my part. I get really lucky at the fact that Rayquaza is able to knock everyone up with their Cyclone or their Tornado. And that just allows me enough time to channel my Night Move and Cap and Steal in the 50-50. And at this point, the game is essentially almost over. We were already ahead by a huge amount prior to Rayquaza, but because we secured it and I'm able to score, that just puts us further ahead. At this point, I don't have any points, so I figured I'm just going to play defense just in case. But realistically, I don't think they can come back from this. Scissor's down, and there's 4 members up. Mr. Mime's in the base. They're not going to be able to score that 50 unless they happen to get a team wipe, which is really unrealistic. I'm going to go bottom to defend against Clefable. Glaceon's here as well. Clefable goes down, and that essentially just guarantees the win at this point. Even if everyone on their team that was alive scored 100, they'd still be losing. So there were a bit of it was a very close end game. I made the mistake of recalling. I should have just stayed with my team, but I didn't think it was too much of an issue. Granted that we did have a Hoopa. Unfortunately, our Decidueye did get caught out by Absol, so even if I was there, it wouldn't change the fact that our ranged DPS got caught out as well. So it would be a 4v4 at best up until Absol makes their way back to the group. But fortunately, I, recover from my blunder. I'm able to secure the Rayquaza for my team, and that allows us to get the win. So we end up winning 618 to 172. So yeah, even if they scored 100 each, they'd still be losing. So yeah, that's kind of like an example of being a solo queue player and, getting paired with a pre-made team. Obviously, you have to make a lot of micro decisions for yourself. Hopefully, they work out in your favor, but at the same time, you don't know how your team is going to play, especially your pre-made team. So you just have to hope that they're capable enough to hold their own. And then when it comes down to, team fights and objectives, they're able to play accordingly, or you play accordingly with them. And hopefully it works out in your favor. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like this type of video, or if you liked my content, just don't forget to support by liking, commenting, subscribing. I appreciate all your support, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Alright guys, take care.